Hello everybody! We are on the third part of our week 1 lesson. Use information from news report, informative talk or speech, panel discussion, etc. in everyday conversations and exchanges. This is your teacher Sasha and welcome to our English class. We are done with news report and informative talk or speech. This time, the focus of our lecture is on panel discussion. Here is the meaning of panel discussion. Panel discussion is a situation in which a group of people are gathered together to discuss an issue, often to provide feedback on something, to brainstorm solutions to a problem, or to discuss an issue of public concern in front of an audience. It also refers to a live, in-person, or virtual discussion about a specific topic among a selected group of experts who share opposing perceptions in front of an audience. These images are examples of how panel discussions are done. So basically, they are a group of people talking about a certain topic. The following are some of the structured panel discussion formats. These may be used by students like you during class presentations of topics or issues in different subject areas, especially in a face-to-face class. First is the main stage style. This is a short duration panel discussion with panel members, normally the keynoter, main stage presenters, or invited panelists. There is no audience involved for the question and answer session. Second is the question and answer or Q&A style. This starts with a short introduction of the topic with chosen questions by the moderator, followed by audience question and answer. Third is the initial remarks style. It consists of a short introduction of the topic with each panelist taking time to introduce himself or herself, as well as his or her standpoints on the topic. Then, chosen questions are asked by the moderator, followed by audience Q&A. The fourth one is the presentation style. It contains a short introduction of the topic and panelists with each of them presenting the perspectives of the topic. It is followed by audience Q&A. Number 5, the talk show format. This format consists of a host or moderator and guest or panelist who have interesting conversations. Some examples are Tonight with Boy Abunda, Gandang Gabi Vice or JJV, or Mars Pamor. Number 6, debate formats. This is done when there are two or more distinct or differentiated viewpoints. And the last one is the game show formats. This is good for more light-hearted topics. You can also use game show technique and dash it into the structure of the panel. For example, you can spin the wheel via cell phone app to determine who will answer the next question or what the next question will be. Now class, watch the video which is an example of a panel discussion, and then answer the questions that follow.
Here at the Seattle Children's Research Institute, one woman is leading the charge on bullying.
That for a long time, bullying was considered kind of a rite of passage. But what we know now from some of the research studies is that bullying is an event that is associated with significant health issues and even brain changes in cases of chronic bullying.
I spent the day with her team, and a group of brave kids hearing about how bullying has affected their lives and what they're doing about it. We begin with a special panel of experts. A researcher, an educator, and a mother of 3 teens. But first, we want to hear from an educational expert at state level. Here's what he had to say.
The most important, the most powerful protective factor you have to make sure your kids are safe online is talk to them. Have conversations. Then the other part of that is listen to them. Listen to what they're telling you, and then build that whole conversation around what are we all doing together to stay safe, keep our kids safe. So talking with the kids, talking with the adults, with the teachers, messages home to families, understanding what it is we're talking about, what it is we're doing, how you can help, how we can help you, how we can all support each other. It's got to be the larger community of everybody involved with that kid's life.
Ladies, thank you for joining us and being here today. I want to get right to it. Nikita, I'm going to start with you because you're a researcher.
Yes.
What's the research show about this situation today?
We know that bullying is associated with short-term and long-term consequences for both the person that's being bullied as well as the perpetrators. And so some of those consequences can be anxiety, depression, an increase in alcohol and substance use, lower grades, as well as just skipping school altogether.
Holly, you're an educator. How does the schools deal with the research that comes from what Nikita's just been talking about?
Real life bullying and online bullying aren't that different. It's really about behavior. It's not about the method where it's happening. So we really want to talk about behavior, but when it comes to the cyber part of it, we use technology for a lot of things. And so anytime we're working on a project that involves technology of any kind, there's a behavioral element to that we want to incorporate into the teaching. Like, well, how are we going to use this tool to communicate effectively? We talk a lot about the fact that once you have a screen in front of you and you're interacting in a digital format, you lose face-to-face conversation. You can't see someone's facial expressions. You can't hear the tone of their voice. You can't see if they're smiling when they're talking. You have to interpret what they're saying in a very different way when it's text only or when it's through some digital medium. So there's lots of opportunities in the work we do as educators that give us a chance to talk about what's the behavior that we want to see in this space so that we give kids the tools to practice. What I like to talk to kids about is that whole idea of when you're in a group and you're in a situation where you're witnessing something, what is it about the group dynamics that make it okay for you to stand up and say something, or what might prevent you from speaking up yourself in that situation? What I like to do in lessons is to give them like role play exercises. Let's look at a situation and let's look at all of the different players in this situation. Well, what would we do at each step along the way to stop this from happening?
Shannon, you have 3 teenagers.
I do.
God bless you. How do you react in this environment? There's a certain trust you have to have with your children. I mean, children do keep things to themselves. How do you deal with that as a parent?
I think that the family values that we instill and start talking to our kids about when they're really young have a huge impact on how they're going to want to present themselves in an online situation, whether that's through text or social media. I also feel like having set times in the house where there is no phone. We have no phones at the dinner table. Phones are put away at a certain time. I do feel that being able to help your child have some adults in their life outside of their family that they feel like they can talk to is a huge benefit in a situation like that. It's not always fun to go to your mom if you have something that you are unsure of how to handle, but maybe being able to go to your teacher or maybe being able to go to your school counselor is a benefit for sure.
I'm curious because a lot of the time I think bullies are being bullied themselves. I think that's part of the reason this happens. You're nodding your head. As a researcher, is that something that you find?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to acknowledge that a lot of the kids who are bullies have been victims of bullying themselves. And so I think it's important in order to try to solve this issue, we not only just focus on just the bully themselves, but just the community as a whole. We need to be creating social norms that make it so that bullying is not okay in these spaces. So instead of just, focusing specifically on the one child that's being the bully or the victim, we need to create a community where this is just not allowed.
Ladies, thank you for joining me. And that was a lot of useful information. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.